It's called Smut. Give me smut and nothing but a dirty novel I can't shut if it's uncut
This is
and unsut.
Fem's reading
Fem's
film.
reading filth.
It's harder to do when we're like this. We can't sing it together. So, but if we have Ben, we'll have Ben superimpose them over each other. So I'll go, Fem's reading filth.
Reading filth. Reading filth.
Okay, so we're back with Arranged Marriages Part 2. Part 2, if you will. Electric Boogaloo. Duh. And this week we are going with the theme of fantasy. We didn't do any like research for this because it's arranged marriages are the same in every iteration, every episode that we're going to do. The basics are still the same. A third party's going to arrange the marriage, blah blah.
I will say, like, there's more like for fantasy ones, I noticed there's more like hierarchy, there's more royalty, and there's a lot of magic. There's a lot more crossover with magic, which is why I feel comfortable calling mine fantasy as well.
Okay. I agree with all of those. I do think it's a lot more of like a marrying of two nations, it feels, in a lot of fantasy, or like two tribes or two, things of beasts or whatever. So that things of beasts, clans of beasts. I don't know what they,
clans.
I read Claimed by the Orc Prince.
Ooh.
It is by Lionel Hart. It is 233 pages, which is pretty short for a book that I read usually. I was trying, when I thought of like fantasy or supernatural, like arranged marriage books, a lot of what came to mind and a lot of what I was finding was like rejected by my alpha fated mate. And it was like, it was just a lot of those. And I was kind of like, you know what? Like, I feel like I've done one of these before, or this is what I expected to do. So I did want to like kind of go out of my comfort zone. And I did, because it starts out with, it's Tegan's wedding day, Taegan. And he is an elven prince. That's right. It's an MM story, baby.
Aw, look at you.
For those that don't know, it's male. This is a gay story. It's a gay. Tegan's wedding day, he is down at the archery range at dawn to calm down because he's an elven prince.
And that's what elves do. They shoot arrows, famously.
Yep.
To chill.
Always.
Kelvin, Kelvahn,
Fine.
for you, Jess. A warlock from the service who is in service of the Royal Library, joins him. They're very quiet. They're spending their last secret moments together. They have been carrying on an affair for a while, but now that it's time for him to get married, it had to end. So they're just spending their morning together, not really talking, just kind of being near each other.
Aw.
Mid-morning, he goes. Tegan is called by his manservant Eric, to go greet the procession, and he says goodbye to Kelvin, and it's kind of a rough and emotional moment. Yeah. His dad, King Reuven, is like, I know this isn't ideal, but we're royals. This is what's expected of you. You knew you were always going to have to like have an arranged marriage to like tie a nation together. And he was like, and Tegan's like, I get it, but he expected to marry like another elf or a human, not a sworn enemy. Hroll?
What?
What? Trying to get what's it?
That was not me. That was not me clearing my throat. Hroll, Hrul, Hroll Bonebreaker.
Hroll Bonebreaker.
Hroll Bonebreaker is the king of the orcs. He enters with his clan into the elvish like kingdom. He's this 8-foot orc with massive tusks protruding from his mouth, tattoos covering his body. He has a shaved head, and with him is his wife and horde of children. He has 8 children with him.
Okay.
They're all going to dine. The plan is they're all going to dine together, and then the wedding will happen because it's customary for elves to eat first, then have the wedding. For the orcs, it's like what we would do, wedding and then celebration. So they're going to do all 3. So today it's eat, wedding. They have their wedding night. And tomorrow it's like the celebration with the orcs.
Huh.
So Hroll presents his 3rd son, Zorvat,
Zorbut?
Zorvut. Zorvut.
Zorvut. Okay.
Zorvut the Relentless, who will be marrying Tegan.
Also hot.
Yes,
yeah. The Relentless is a good sign, I think.
Yeah. He is noticeably shorter than his father. He is the runt of the litter, if you will, but he's still like 7 feet tall. He has less pronounced tusks, jet black hair in this ponytail with like shaved sides, and no visible tattoos. So I wanted to give you like the description of Hurl so you could like see how different of an orc he is than Zorvut.
My quick question is, like, I really understand elves. I really understand vampires. I really understand werewolves. I'm not sure if I understand what makes an orc an orc.
Yeah. Especially more generally.
Yeah. I do feel like orcs can change. I think there's something that is like an author can kind of change their description, but I do think a lot of it because I tried to read Tusk Love, which if you don't know what that is, it is a romance book that is based off of a fake story from a D&D campaign in Critical Role. And I think a lot of those characteristics of orcs in D&D have like colored the canon of what an orc should look like and what they are. They're usually like very
big
fighters, big like battle hungry fighters, not like monsters per se, but like not barbarians per se, but like within that realm, if that kind of like
usually humanoid, but like just bulkier.
Like
bulkier. I have seen tusks a lot.
Really? Okay.
And I'm imagining
not
like,
always though.
Like kind of an ogre like situation. Like
I think it's a little more humanoid.
Okay.
I think the skin would be a little thicker. I think they'd be between an ogre and like ogre troll on one side, human on other, orc in between is what I'm feeling. But also I could be completely wrong. But like his skin is also like darker. It's like a grayish thing, but it's like it looks normal. It doesn't look leathery. I'm gonna assume it is like a bit thicker though, because they are like born to be fighters. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've gotten from this and from my many watchings of random D&D things. So Hurl presents his third son, Zorvut the Relentless, and it's an issue because it's customary for the eldest to marry, like the whatever. Tegan is an only child. He's the only prince of the Elvish kingdom, and Hurl is like, oh, you silly elves, no, this is okay. Because his firstborn, this is what he says. He goes, my firstborn has a real temper issue, and I don't think your son would be safe with him. And my second is a girl. And from what I've heard, I think your son would prefer a boy.
Rock on.
Yeah. The elves are offended, but Tegan jumps in and just like accept. He's like, we're fine with this. We're completely fine with this because he wants to like keep the peace.
Well, that was very thoughtful also. Hurl.
Yeah. Hurl.
Yeah.
And Zorvut kind of blushes. He can kind of like see and be like, oh. And we get a lot of more backstory about like how for like years and years and years, the orcs have been fighting with the elves. Like there was 2 kings and the other like 2 dads for Tegan. So Tegan's gay. He comes from 2 gay dads. And his other dad died fighting the orcs. And so this is like a really big deal that they're going to have peace and there's no more bloodshed and blah, blah, blah. So it's also kind of weird though, because Tegan's like, I have been training my whole life to fight. And now that there's peace, I don't have to. Hence why he also likes going to the archery range, because he's like, I'll brush up on my skills, but also like it calms me down, but also blah, blah, blah. So Tegan goes back to his room to get ready. Kelvin comes to his room and is like, we can leave right now and you don't have to do this. Wow, and Tegan's like, right? And I was like, whoa.
Similar to my pirates story.
Yes.
Last time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We're uncovering. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tegan is like, you wouldn't understand. This is my duty. Like I've always known that I was going to do this. And what we had was nice, but like, you've got to let it go. Please leave. You're making this harder on both of us. And Kelvin's like, and like hands in pockets goes back to like his library or whatever. The wedding is held.
It's library.
He's like the warlock of the royal library. So
okay, well, some warlocks are fighters, and I guess some of them are nerds.
Fuck yeah, they're nerds. That one's such a fucking nerd. Okay. The wedding is held at the tree temple. Classic.
Right.
Obviously.
And as Tegan is walking up, he realizes their ceremonial garb is very different. Like Tegan has this picture Lord of the Rings, like when the elves dress up. It's like up to the neck, like buttoned up light, nice linens or like things like that, sparkly maybe. And the orcs are dressed in like kind of kilts with like a sash. Like he has like a bare chest, and he's like, once again, I can see his chest. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, big fan of the orcs so far.
Yeah, they are like pretty bloodthirsty, but like the look we're into.
I mean, not always a bad thing.
Not always. Yes, correct. They say their vows. They're both really nice. They're both just like, it's a lot of like, I'm going to stand by you and I'm going to do this. And it's weird because they just met like 2 hours ago. So this is all from Tegan's perspective.
Surprised that they would be doing like their own and they're not just like reciting.
But I think a lot of it's also like I vow to like keep you safe and to like keep our people safe. Like it's very political too. So they say their vows. And it's a thing that Zorvit doesn't know. He learns in this moment that elves have a bond when they get married and they have a mental connection.
Love this.
So Zorvit's like, the fuck is about to happen? And Tegan's like, oh yeah, didn't everyone know this? And he's like, what? No. And they get this, they like bond and they immediately like feel each other in the back of their heads. They feel like it's kind of small at first, but it's like their emotions. And he feels this like gush of like trepidation, but like excitement and scared and nerves. And he's like, that's not me. That's all him. And so he's like, wow, this is something to get used to, huh?
Yeah.
The wedding is done. The party commences. So they go to like celebrate they do like this is like the pre-party. Mm-hmm. And then like the next day will be the orc thing. So this is just like they did it. And it's like like the reception, if you will, but like drinks reception. None of this matters. Cut all this. The party commences, but soon Tegan begs off and he's like, it's been a long day. And his dad's like, you're right. You're okay. And because his dad can just tell he's just like at his limit. Like it's just been a very emotional day. So he and Zorvit, like he like grabs his hand and they walk and they go to his quarters together. So it's their quarters now because Zorvit's going to live at the castle. Tegan asks for help getting his cape off. He had like this big cape. And Zorvit comes up behind him. He dismisses his manservant. Yeah. And Zorvit comes and his hand is so big. Like the elf's hand, if they wanted to hold hands, like the elf only needs to hold his 2 forefingers and like a thumb. Like that's how much bigger, or you know what I mean? Like that's how much bigger like the orc's hand is than
I keep making hand signals, I think. Yeah.
Does this help?
Yeah, that's helping me a lot.
like this, like that. So yeah, just anytime you need a hand signal, let me know. And he takes off, he's like, thank you. And then he takes off his shirt and Zorvit takes off his little like pleat, like, you know, sash thing, his shirt thing. And he kind of like drops his trow, if you will. And I wrote down a quote and it says, the surprise, Tegan takes off Zorvit's pants. So Zorvit's now naked. Tegan's like has like just his pants on. The surprise quickly morphing into fear as he considered the orc's member seemed easily the size of his own forearm.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Tegan immediately backs away and then immediately senses the embarrassment of Zorvit for Bond.
No.
I know. That's exact. I went, no. Don't be embarrassed. And Zorvit's like, hey, it's cool. Like, I don't want to do anything you don't want to do.
It's like, I'm so sorry that my dick is so big. I really apologize.
I know. I was like, holy shit. And so then he like, Tegan's like, no, yeah, that's totally cool. He goes into his closet to like change. And he's like, you know what? No, like I'm going to do this. Yeah. He comes out of his closet naked, but Zorvit's already on like he's taken off like the pillow and the and like one of the blankets from the bed, puts it on the ground next to the bed.
No.
So Tegan comes out like, hey, and Zorvit's already on the ground in a makeshift bed, and he's like, let's not rush anything. He like barely looks over his like shoulder, and like they go to sleep. And Tegan's like, fuck, I fucked that up. The next day, Tegan is heading to the dining hall for like breakfast, where he suspects Zorvit is because he woke up alone, when Kelvin corners him and is like,
Kelvin, let it go.
Kelvin is a little bit of a
I already know.
Not a fan of Kelvin in this one. And he's like, we can still see each other in secret. Like, people have affairs all the time. And Tegan's like, dude, I'm married. Like, I would never put in jeopardy the peace that our nations have for you. Like, he says something like that.
Damn dog.
He gets to the dining hall. The other elves keep not looking at Zorvit because they're like all freaked out that an orc is there. They're, again, all used to the idea that orcs are like bloodthirsty, that they're evil, that they're their sworn enemies.
And they're also like, oh no, he's hot.
They're like, oh, he's hot, but like, is he going to kill me? I don't know. And Tegan's like pissed off. Zorvit's like, it's okay. They'll learn to be around me. And he's like, wow, you're more like fiery than I thought. And Tegan's like, what does that mean? Ooh. And that night, like, seriously, the whole time I'm just like, just talk, like, talk to him. You can feel his feelings. Just can't do that because then the book wouldn't happen. You're right. You're right.
Yep. We need plot.
That night is the orc celebration. Zorvit tells Tegan to stick close by him because it can get a little rowdy.
Rowdy, I bet.
It's basically just Tegan going. Like, no other elves are going. It's the orc celebration. So, like, the elves had their thing yesterday. The orcs are having their thing. Tegan expects like hardcore barbarians and like he's expecting like an army encampment, and he's surprised to find like a very lively, colorful celebration with like music, and like there's human minstrels there and like dancing, and they plant themselves like at a table, and the occasional orc starts coming up to them and giving them a wishes or a gift, but most of the people bypass them and go straight to Hrull, which Tegan finds odd. He's like, why? It's our wedding. Like, what the fuck? But doesn't say any of this. And they're like, he's like kind of having a good time. He's like, wow, I didn't realize you guys danced. And Zorvit's like, we actually have to do a dance. And Tegan's like, oh, fuck. Okay, like, let's get this over with. Let's do it. And they start dancing, and he doesn't know any of these. Like, because they're
to be fair, and like, you surprised your husband by being like, we share a mind now.
That's true. Right. Which one's worse, dancing or minds?
Dancing, share minds. Yeah.
I don't know. I got 2 left feet. JK, I'm a great dancer.
I think sharing the mind is a harder sell than the dancing. Me personally.
I agree. Yeah. And Tegan like copies the dancing that's happening, and then he's like, oh my God, this is fun. Like, I'm having a good time. This is great. When they finally leave for the night, they walking back up like the path to the elf castle, and they're by like the kind of gates, so there's like some elf guards there, and they hear like a scream, and an orc, they turn, an orc starts running at them screaming, we will never bow to elves, and Zorvit's a blood traitor. And immediately, like, Zorvit like throws him behind, like Tegan behind him. The elf guards immediately like spring into action, and they just kind of like knock him out, which I'm like, that's really embarrassing for that orc. And Zorvit was like ready to fight, and he's like, you know what, take him back to Hrull and tell him exactly what he said. Like, he's gonna get like killed, which is great. That's what he deserves. And Tegan was like, okay, that was great. The next day, all the guests leave. Like, they are there to see all the orcs leave, and Tegan takes Zorvit to the tailor to get more princely outfits, because he's like, you are going to need some clothes that kind of like fit in around here. Like, nothing wrong with your duds, but like, if you want to be more comfortable. And he's like, totally. And is immediately warm for his form, because he's watching the tailor like take his measurements, and then he like gets this like burgundy fabric and turns it into a shirt, and it's like really tight on his chest, and Tegan's like, okay, and it shows off his like rippling muscles, and he's having these like lustful feelings, and he's like, I gotta shut this down because he knows exactly what I'm feeling. And Zorvit's like blushing and kind of like looking at him in the mirror, and he's like, nah. So He tries on the shirts. He's like, okay, Eric, my servant, show Zorvit the whole castle because he doesn't know where he is. And I am just going to go to the archery range and just like chill out.
Work out these feelings.
I got to work out these lustful feelings.
Question.
Yes.
Is the mental connection something that is affected by distance, or is it like no matter what, no matter how far away the person is, it's in your brain?
They do talk about this later, and the distance, like, it depends on how powerful your connection is. So like when the king and the consort, that's what I guess he technically was, would like when the consort would go to like fight, because he was like a knight. So when he would go to fight, he could still kind of feel feelings. But it was like dimmer. And like he would be like, you know, villages away. So it depends on like how powerful the connection is, but you could still, there's always going to be a thing. But like, so when the king consort died, he immediately felt the bond like snap. So like he felt it break when his husband died. So that like you can feel some things depending on who you are. Does that help?
Yeah, I've read this in many ways, so I just wanted to check. Yeah.
It's always going to be like slightly different no matter like what the story is.
Yeah.
Zorvit finishes his tour and Eric brings him out to the range and Tegan's like, I'll show you around the range. And they have this moment where they're both like super turned on by each other's skills because like Tegan's all sweaty from like doing archery and he like shows him stuff and Zorvit's like, I have been trained in all the weapons, but like the broadsword is like my thing. And he like starts doing some stuff and Tegan's like, okay. And he's like, well, I'm really sweaty. Do you want to bathe with me? And Zorvit's like, yes, I do.
Yes.
Classic pickup line. Do you want to bathe with me?
Do you want to bathe? That's what I should do on Bumble. Want to take a bath? No, I should not do that on Bumble.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Okay. This leads to number one, which I call, okay, Zorvit. In which they both get naked and in the bath, and Zorvit's like, I want to take this slow. I want to take this like as slow as you want. It gave real ACOTAR vibes. Like they both wash each other. It's this huge bathtub and they finally like get to their like, you know, little area, their genitals. And the bond makes, so like Zorvit starts like jerking him off and the bond makes it feel like he's jerking himself. Like they can both feel it. So they're both like, oh my God, like no matter what's touched. And Tegan says we should go to the bed. And Zorvit picks him up. And remember, he's like 7 feet tall. He's huge. The elf is probably like, I don't know, maybe 6 feet tall. I don't know. But he's like light. He's an elf. They picks him up, puts his legs around his shoulders while he's standing and walking and like gives him a blowjob.
Whoa.
And
Wow.
And then we also learn elf butts get wet because because they're men. So the men like their
excellent
area lubricates itself. And Zorvit tops Tegan, and it's not all the way because he's too big. Size of a forearm. Yeah. And it just like, and it's like great. It's so great. They're like, this is amazing. It opens the floodgates and their bond creates a feedback loop of like horniness. Yes. And they want to bang all the time. But they still haven't kissed. And so like during that first time, Zorvit tries to lean down and kiss him and he immediately like turns his head away because he's like, it just feels too intimate. Like I still feel like I don't know this guy. I don't know.
Zorvit turns away?
Tegan turns away.
Okay.
Orc tries to kiss Elf. Elf turns away. But like for the next few weeks, they're like, this is great. So like they go to the tailor, they get more clothes. There's an immediate like flush of lust and they're like, we gotta go. And like this happens everywhere.
They're banging all the time.
They're eating and his forearm like flexes as he like puts the fork in his mouth. He's like, we gotta go. So it's just like so much sex.
But no kissing.
No kissing. No kissing. Okay. Everything else. That's the Pretty Woman
such rules. A huge bummer to me.
Yeah. We're working up to it, I hope.
We're working on it.
And they never kissed. The end.
And they never kiss. Bye. Zorvit doesn't know how to read Elvish. She only knows how to speak it. So they are spending their days like in the library, like Tegan's reading to him. He's trying to like find stuff for him to do. And finally one day the king's like, let's all go on a hunt. And they're like, yes.
Nice.
So they go hunting with the king and like a bunch of his advisors and Zorvit and Tegan. And Zorvit impresses everybody because he has this huge horse because he needs to have like a bigger, like a Clydesdale versus like a, I can't think of a Paisley painted horse. I can't think of another horse breed.
No one help.
Horse girl, Taylor. Arabian, an Arabian horse.
Keep going.
Isn't that
what other horses do you think are there?
I know Clydesdales because of the beer.
Good job. What else?
Black Beauty is a horse.
That's right.
Yes. Correct.
So the elves have like a Black Beauty. The orcs have like Clydesdales. That's what I got. That's what I got.
Got it. Thank you.
Like a Paisley? Isn't it? Isn't that a horse or a painted
Arabian, which is one? But
Arabian. Okay,
that Arabian is a horse. Paisley is not a horse.
Painted, a painted horse. Isn't that
from Wizard of Oz, babe?
Listeners, if you know what I'm talking about, DM us. Okay.
At them sweeting pills.
At them sweeting pills. Thank you. They go hunting. Zorvin impresses everyone. He like is able to like get they go hunting twice, so I can't remember what. Oh, it's like an elk or a deer or something. And it's like this big like thing. He like Tegan kind of gets to know him a lot more, and they like both had a good time like being out of the castle. So a month in, they have this routine. Zorvit's learning Elvish. Tegan reads to him still. It's very cute. One day, Kelvin, like as the two are walking, they're like, bop, bop, bop. Kelvin stops him. He's like, can I talk to you, my prince? And he's like, and Zorvit kind of like walks a little away. And Kelvin's like, just want to bring this back to you. We could have an affair if you want, because like it's disgusting. He's like, it's disgusting that you're with an orc. Like you should not be with those like disgusting like monsters who have killed your father. And
buddy, move on. And I'm starting to get the feeling like you're a little power hungry, maybe, Kelvin. Why can't you let it go? Why can't you let it go?
And Tegan's like, what the fuck? I said no. The things that you're talking about, these stolen moments are not worth endangering the peace. Like you're not you are not worth any of this. And I'm having a nice time with my husband. So
also, can we quickly in Righteous Gemstones, Adam Devine's character's name is Calvin, and he is a gay youth pastor. And there's like so many animal prints and has spiky boy band hair, and so that is who I'm picturing. If anybody listening wants to look up Calvin from Righteous Gemstones, it fits beautifully.
Weirdly, do you know who and I think this is because I was kind of picturing a faceless thing, but with this body. And then I watched the Mel Brooks documentary this weekend, and I figured out what I was thinking. Have you seen History of the World Part 1?
No.
The movie?
Ages ago. Ages ago.
You've never seen it, Taylor? Oh my gosh. It's a classic. There's a whole Busby Berkeley-esque musical number called The Inquisition, about the Spanish Inquisition. And there are these monks who are, it's like classic monk, like, oh my Lanta, like brown, like cloaks with hoods. They have the friar like haircut with the nothing. And for some reason, that's what I was picturing, but with elf ears and like a younger guy.
Okay, yes, I'm close to that, which is to say it's kind of bowlish. It's not bald in the middle like the friars have. We have little flippies. It's bowl cut with flippies.
We got a flippy bowl cut with some elf ears. Yep.
And he's definitely like short, stocky.
Yeah.
I definitely short. I don't know if like stocky, but like I think the robes would hide.
Or
the robes would hide his.
He's a warlock. Is he a warlock? Do we know for sure?
I think. Oh. Well, I think he's like an elf warlock. Like he's like a magical elf.
Well, he's pretty racist to otherwise be.
He's racist. He's a racist guy.
We don't love that. We don't love that.
Fuck you, Kelvin, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Not from Righteous Gemstones, just from Claimed by the Orc Prince. So Tegan returns to his room and Zorvit's there, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh my!" And Tegan's already like pissed off. He has like these emotions of Zorva in his head. He like can't really, and he kind of like blows up and he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry my emotions bother you. And he's like, you know what? Like, fuck this. He like closes the bond. He's able to kind of like shut it off.
No.
And Zorvit's like, oh my God, and just like leaves. And he like spends the night somewhere, like in a different room or something.
Of course, he feels rejected.
Zorvit just ignores him. He like, I mean, Tegan closes the bond. He's like, wait, and Zorvit's like, nope, and like leaves. He ignores him, and it's like a day. He can't really find him anywhere. He like meditates. Tegan meditates, and he's just saying like, I'm sorry. He's just apologizing through and through the bond. He like reopened it back up. And while Z kind of accepts it, the two, he's just like, yeah, you know, like whatever, we're married. It's fine. Like, I get it. You don't want to talk about it. Like, that's what Zorva says. And Tegan's like, no, I do. I just can't, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, you know what? Let's go hunting, just you and me. And they go, okay. So they plan the next day to go hunt wild boar. It's going to be an overnight trip, just the two of them. Meanwhile, as he's playing this, Tegan goes and talks to his dad, and his dad is like, dude, do you even know how Zorvit feels about all this? Like, you keep freaking out about, like, his emotions in your head and all this stuff. And, like, he's like, have you even tried to talk to him about anything? Like, do you know anything about him? It's been, like, over a month. And he's like, ooh, I've been a bad husband.
Have I asked one question?
Begging?
Yes.
Yeah. My God.
They've been doing a casual situationship when they're really supposed to be in a relationship.
Lord.
The two go hunting, and Zorvit gets his leg cut by a boar, and it's this immediate, and they kind of got separated, but they're not too far. And Tegan like hears through the bond, he like hears him scream like his name. He goes rushing to him, takes care of him, and with the panic of the emotions in the bond, Tegan runs, patches him up, and then they fuck, and I call that one number 2, right next to the carcass, because they just killed a boar.
Yeah.
The emotions are surging.
Yeah.
And I've seen that kind of thing in like movies or TV where it's like that moment of like, it's the adrenaline that kicked in. Oh my God, I thought I lost you. Kisses, whatever. This one is just like, oh my God, we need to bang. And they just like, it's daylight. Their horses are just right there. I was just like, okay, guys. Okay.
What is watching?
The Clydesdale and Black Beauty are just right there
watching.
And that night they sit watching the stars and they fucking finally talk.
Thank God.
Tegan says he wants to make this work, not just because of the treaty, but because he doesn't want to be in a loveless marriage. Zorvit reveals, I know, right? Cute. Zorvit reveals that he never fit in with his family and didn't think they even liked him. All the siblings always have to compete for their father's love. Yeah. And him being the smallest, never thought an orc would want to marry him. So he said yes to the arranged marriage immediately because he didn't think he ever had any other chance. Tegan reveals they kind of like, you know, set it all out. And Tegan's like, okay, so that guy yesterday was Kelvin. We used to bang and he really pissed me off and I'm sorry. And Z says like he had someone like that, but thought they only wanted to like get in his father's good graces.
It's a good instinct.
So that's why he didn't like say goodbye at the like wedding celebration. And they don't say it, but for some reason, I weirdly think it's the guy that ran after them.
Yes.
I really think it's that guy.
Yeah. That sounds right. That feels like
right.
Yeah.
And Lionel Hart, do a re-edit, put that in. And and Grace they say all this, they lean in, they finally have a kiss.
To share a special kiss.
Communication.
This leads to number 3, in which I call They Go All the Way, in which Zorvit finally goes all the way in because he's so big.
The
magic of a kiss. It's like poppers. It's like nature's poppers.
Yeah. And I've been saying this.
Exactly right.
I've been saying for years, kisses are nature's poppers.
I've been saying it.
You have.
You heard it here first.
Credit. Yes.
The ride home in the morning is filled with Tegan asking Z all these questions since he feels like he doesn't know him.
Yes.
So it's like, it's really, I was just like, finally, I'm like, we are like 60% of the way through this book. And he's like, what's your favorite color? I literally had that question. I was in my mind, I'm like, he doesn't even know what his favorite color is. And then I was like, oh, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? Da, 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 da. I was like, great. And Z, I start writing Z because I didn't want to write Zorvit out in my notes. So if I call him Z, you know who it is. Zorvit's asking questions about reproduction. Great. And we learn Jessica. We learn ancient elves. It kind of gave me Hedwig and the Angry Inch vibes. Ancient elves were rumored to be all one sex, but they split over time.
Yes.
And now all types can reproduce with all types. Yes. So there are male females, there are women loving women, men loving men. They can all reproduce. For men, it can only happen once or twice a year with a heat, like a type of heat. Tegan says that he does want kids one day, but not soon. And Z is like, I'm in.
I love MPREG lore because everybody does it slightly differently. It's so great.
I read it and I went, Jessica's going to like this.
I love it. I love it. Everybody does a slightly different thing. When
they all.
Yeah. When his butthole was self-lubricating, it was like, oh my God.
I thought you'd like that too.
It's like, like everybody has their own way of doing guacamole.
Yes.
Like everyone does it just a little bit different. And but I never am like, damn, I hate this guacamole. I always love it.
Yep.
Eat it right now.
No, this is how they did it. That's great.
That's true. I've never not liked guacamole. So you know what? I've never not liked anyone talking about an MPREG lore.
You're right. Yeah.
But it's true. You're right. I've never hated anyone for discussing. I was like, I want to know what the deal is with like elves having babies. Okay.
Absolutely.
The next few weeks pass, and the two of them are a lot more affectionate while in public because Tegan wants to try and get everyone used to the fact that Zorvit's an orc. He starts having him sit in on like business and like being more involved in like the goings on of the kingdom. They both research the wedding bond a bit more because Tegan's also like, I don't actually know that much about like us feeling emotions. We also learned that like all creatures have the possibility of magic. Zorvit says he doesn't have any. Tegan's like, I have a little, and he can Dumbledore in the third movie where he like makes a candle go off and like that kind of thing. Yeah, that's the most magic he has. Like that's all he can do. It's called blowing out a candle.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
Do you know he didn't just blow out a candle? And one night, so they're like having a great time. This is great. They're like, oh, and that's when they learn more about like if the bond is more powerful, you can feel each other further away, like all that stuff I said earlier. This is kind of when they find that out. One night, Kelvin comes to their door in the middle of the night and says, your lives are in danger. He says he had a vision that Zorvit was not Hurl's bio son. He then traveled to the orc lands because he's a warlock. So he was like vision. Oh my God.
He like warg.
He magic explains it. He's like, if I can like think of the person, I can like appear where they are. And then I only have enough magic to like get me back. So like, that's all I did. And I was like, okay. And he says, he traveled to the orc lands and talked to Zorvit's mom, and she confessed to him that she did it with a human minstrel.
Whoa, he's not bullshitting.
So Zorvit is not the son of Hurl, Bonebreaker.
Oh, troubling.
Oh, no.
So he says Zorvit needs to flee because the mom told Hurl and Hurl's pissed and is now amassing an army, and he's gonna come kill him because he's not a son. Like that's a he's amassing an army.
Wait. He's amassing the army to come kill Z?
Yes, and elves.
And elves, both.
Yes. He's like, the treaty's done. I've been had. Like, this guy isn't my thing. And I don't want him representing.
He's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I see.
Yeah. It's a little, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So Kelvin's like, you need to get the fuck out of here because he's going to come kill you. And you got to go before the king like casts you out like King Reuven because he's got to protect his people. And not wanting Tegan to get hurt, Zorvit's like, I don't want anything to happen to you. Like, I'll just go.
Aww.
Kelvin, I know it's really sad. Kelvin and Tegan go and inform the King Reuven. And he's like, do you want me to dissolve the marriage bond between you guys? Like, do you not want, like, should we trust this guy? Maybe he knew the whole time that, like, he wasn't his son, but, like, no one knows anything. And is like, is it going to be safer? And Tegan, like, has all these people coming at him, and he's like, you know what? Like, yeah, I guess I have to. Like, let's do it. And the marriage dissolves, the bond severs, and he immediately regrets it. He immediately regrets it. He's like, oh, I've fucked up.
Yeah.
And Zorbit doesn't even know what's going on. He's probably just like, damn, rejected again after being rejected his whole life.
Again. Exactly.
Oh, brother.
Tegan kind of sucks a little bit. I'm just like, Tegan, think for yourself. Think for yourself. Yeah. And so he goes, and Tegan goes back to his room, cries himself to sleep. The next morning, Calvin knocks on his door. He's like, hey, now we can be together. And Tegan's like, are you insane? You've condemned our elves to die because of this. Like, you found out the secret. You're the one that, like, I mean, if you found out the secret, somehow Hurl found out. You're saying that, you know, Zorbit's mom told him, but I don't know. Something must have happened. And now we're going to go back into, like, battle because you wanted to fuck me. And he tells him to leave. And if he ever comes back, he'll have him killed.
Nice.
And I was like, fucking finally.
Yeah, get Calvin out of here.
Get Calvin out of here. Tegan then writes a letter to his dad being like, I have to go find Zorbit. He rides all day and finally, like, goes back to the place where they went to, like, hunt the boar, and he finds him. Tegan tells him he's sorry for severing the bond and that he loves him and he wants to marry him again for love this time.
Nice.
And Zorbit tells him, like, he loves him. And then Tegan's like, show me, which leads to number 4, which I call, now is not the time, you guys, because there is an army coming. You're out in the open.
There's a war brewing.
A war is the people are coming. You don't even have a bond anymore to make sure you're okay. I was just like, guys, not the time. But I get it. But also, when the feeling comes, the feeling comes.
I just think that it is the time, actually.
Yeah. Great, excellent point.
I want to get them to a safer place. They're out. People are looking for them. It's just a little irresponsible.
I'm going to side with Taylor. I think now is the time, actually.
Because then what if, like, you guys get captured and, like, one of you is about to be burned at the stake and the other one is getting flayed and you're like, damn, we should have boned in the woods.
I think that's a great idea.
I see what you're saying. I wish they had had
in
more cover.
In this political climate, can we afford not to bone?
Seize the day.
You're right. In this America, do we not have the right to bone whenever? You're right.
Carpe diem, Emily.
I should carpe diem. I should put that on my Bumble. Okay.
Yeah.
The next morning, they're like, they've boned, they've slept, they're happy. They start making their way back to the castle when they pass a small village and they hear a commotion and they see a party of orcs has started attacking, which is, like, right next to where they were. That's more, I guess I should have said that before I, like, did my whole, they shouldn't have been boned there. But now you see. And the party of orcs starts attacking. The two rush into fight. There's this big fight scene. One of them almost kills Tegan. He gets thrown off his horse, his Black Beauty, called Moonlight, which works with Black Beauty.
Yes,
and
it does.
It was the last gift his late father gave him. Oh. And then Moonlight gets killed in the fight, which is really sad.
That is really sad.
A horse is dying about this?
A horse died. A horse died. I mean, elves did too, but, like, the horse died.
Yeah, Tegan, but that horse didn't choose this. Or did he?
Don't know the magic of horses in this world.
Maybe.
We'll talk about that later.
Lionel?
This orc is standing over Tegan. He's like, Lionel, can you do a re-edit, please? Almost kills him. Flash of lightning comes down, hits the orc, kills the orc instead. Everyone kind of stops and they look at Zorbit, who's kind of just, like, standing there, like, with his arm out, and he's like,
oh, he is magic.
He has magic.
The battle continues. They win. They save the elves. The two other orcs that are left standing, he's like, Zorbit's like, go back to Hurl and tell him that, like, we aren't gonna stand for he's like, go back. Afterwards, Tegan, they bury Moonlight. They get a new horse. They ride back to the castle, and Tegan's like, so, like, literally, like, the line is like, do you want to talk about it? He's like, I don't know what that was. He's like, it looks like you have magic. And he's like, I don't know. And then they're like, okay, we'll talk about it later. And like, that's that. And I was like, what?
Right.
We're at 98% now. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't know this. They get home. The king apologizes to Zorvit for severing the bond. He's like, you know what? I acted in haste, like mentioning that. Like, that's my fault. Do you want to be remarried? He's like, yeah. An hour later, they're back at the tree temple. The priest goes. They rebond. It's cute. And then it ends on a to be continued. And I was like, I didn't know this when I started.
Oh!
Will there be peace?
Well, there's like 4. I think there's like 3 or 4 books in the series. And I was like, whoa. So
cool.
It ends on a to be continued. And the game I had was just a question of, would you want that bond if you could have it? Because we've kind of talked a little bit about it, but I just kept, like, they brought it up a lot. They talked about having someone's emotions in your head all the time, having it sometimes act as like a feedback loop for like your horniness or something. Like having emotions in your head that's not yours, that like kind of like your head's not quiet. Do you know what I mean? But also like in a pro side, like you could feel them when they're in danger, like when Zorvik got hit by the boar, or like, you know, like when you're in a fight, like something like that. So I just wanted to know what you guys thought.
I think it would need to be something that I could volunteer to turn on and off, because at least for me, I am someone that feels a lot of feelings and often don't even understand them myself. And I don't want my partner to feel them before I even really know what the fuck is going on. I like to process and then communicate, and I feel like that would make it very difficult.
That's fair.
That's a really good point. I also feel like I'm a pretty like highly emotional person, I would say. And I was thinking, I was like, you know, like I feel like I pretty much like I feel pretty in tune. Like I feel like I pretty much know. So like maybe the benefit would be like if we were apart, then I could know, and like that would be really cool. But then I was thinking about so like Andrew will wear headphones when he's cooking, and like sometimes I'll be like watching my show, and it'll be like my serious show that I'm like really deeply into, and like somebody is dying, somebody's being crushed, like, and he is over there laughing. He's laughing at something on his podcast, and I go, what?
I do the same thing.
And nothing pisses me off more. And like, I need to examine this, I think, further about my own self.
Someone's not like in the same emotional moment as you.
When he is laughing while I am suffering, like it pisses me off.
I get that. I get that.
It makes me so fucking mad. And so maybe not. maybe we just keep it separate, because I feel like I have all the information that I need.
I also am a very emotional person, I'd say, but I have a problem where I don't. Well, you kind of said it. Like I need to figure out what I'm feeling. I do think it would be kind of a cheat sheet though to have someone else being like, hey, why are you so angry? And I'd be like, I am angry. You're right. Like a little bit, but also I would assume that whatever partner I have would know like well enough to leave me alone if they're feeling that. Or like, you know, if they could like, if they're in the kitchen cooking, I'm watching something, they somehow feel me with despair. I could imagine them kind of like looking around the corner being like, she just watching TV, or is something bad happening? And like doing like a check-in like that. But like, I don't know. I think the horniness feedback would be kind of fun.
I think that would for sure be so much fun.
Oh, that I'm fine with. That'd be great.
Love that so much.
That was claimed by the Orc Prince by Lionel Hart. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.
I liked that one.
Thank you. And now we'll take a break.
I've never quibbled. If it was ribbled, I would devour where others merely nibbled. As the judge remarked the day that he acquitted my Aunt Hortense, to be smut it must be utterly without regard social importance.
I will be telling a story just for me, and I'm glad that you guys are here too.
You know, when you say something like that, though, I'm like, usually one of us is probably going to like it too, or be amused by it at least. So I wouldn't, Yeah.
I think you're both going to enjoy this.
Okay.
It's definitely a swing that I've never taken before, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay.
I'm ready to learn something about myself.
This is called She Shall Have, and it's by Written Into Stars. It was completed January of 2021. It is 38 chapters and 64,000 words. And it is a reader self-insert fan fiction.
Ooh.
Okay. With who?
The fandom is Thor and
Wait, is it Thor or is it Loki? Is it Thor or is it Loki?
What do you think? Taylor, what do you think? What do you think I would pick?
It has to be Loki.
It has to be Loki. You would pick Loki. Yeah. In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going back to our roots, you guys. We're
I'm
going
into
back
it.
to our roots.
I think we're all a big fan of a Loki fan. Here.
I just got full body goosebumps.
Excellent. Because if you remember, listener, Taylor and I, when we first met, we bonded over Tom Hiddleston fan fiction in particular. And when I found this, I was like, well, even if like it's definitely full of tropes, we must. We
must.
So I think you guys, we don't need to know a whole lot about Thor to really get into this. But if you could describe Loki as a character and also like physically and personality wise and just some of the lore that he comes from, Taylor, that would be lovely. And obviously Emily and I will fill in.
Okay, so physically he's like lanky, right? Like Thor's muscles. Thor is bulk, but Loki is like lanky, elegant, like he would be swift moving, and he would, he's got the grace and like dexterity, I bet.
Like an elf versus an orc, maybe?
Yeah, and like you just get the feeling that like he has lovely hands and just like beautiful cheekbones. He's got this like curly black hair that's like, swept back a lot. And would you say his eyes are blue or green? I don't know. Green.
No, green, probably.
I think they're green.
Yeah, he wears a lot of green.
I'll look it up.
And so while the character of Loki is like known as being the trickster, and so like you're like, oh, he's an asshole, he's a bad guy, he's just stirring the pot to stir the pot. Beneath all of that trickster hee ha ha is a deeply hurting man, wounded, hurting, and just lashes out because he's so at his heart of hearts lonely.
Yes. He's the younger brother. Yeah.
Can't tell if his eyes are green or blue.
That's okay. We're gonna say green.
I think they're blue. Hey, if you know what color Tom Hiddleston specifically his eyes are, DM us at Femster Intel.
But his color is green, right?
Yes, yeah.
His color is green. He's the trickster god. He is the younger brother of Thor, but there's some feelings because he is actually like part adopted and part ice giant or Jotun, Jotun, Jotun. Jotun.
I know ice giant is what they use in Marvel, so we could just say that. Yeah.
So we've got some little sibling inferiority complex. The place that Thor and Loki come from is called Asgard, which is like where Odin lives, and it's kind of a beyond time, like medieval place that's up in the clouds is how it's usually depicted in the Marvel movies, and so that's how we're picturing it here. And these are like immortal beings and gods, but they also rule a kingdom in a way because they rule Asgard. So we've got a little bit of crossover there. Something I should say, so I don't think I've ever done a reader fic before. So in case we have listeners who don't know what this is, there are fan fictions wherein it will be, the pairing will be like character / reader, and that means you. Like you, the person reading it, you are the love interest. And usually these stories are done one of two ways. The way that I don't usually read, but that is quite popular, when the character like is referring to you, it will have a Y/N, and that stands for your name. And you're supposed to like insert your own name in there in the dialogue. I have a really hard time with that. I don't. My brain doesn't work well that way.
Yeah.
The one that this is structured as, and what I prefer to read with a reader insert, is where they just don't. You don't really ever say your name a lot in your actual life, and there's other things that can be inserted in the dialogue to get around that. So it'll be like literally, Loki called your name.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. Like that kind of a thing. And they kind of weave their way around it. That's what I prefer to read, and that's what this one is. And it's a really fun type of fanfic. If you can find ones that you like, I would say that fandoms that star heartthrobby people like Tom Hiddleston, for example, tend to have more reader self-insert fics than other fandoms that might not have such a very handsome man at the helm, is what I'll say. Trigger warnings for porn without plot, battles, and an age gap because he's an immortal being and you aren't.
That kind's fine.
I don't know. I wrote, but they're immortal beings, so I don't know, yada yada. Okay. Chapter 1. You are a kid and you're running through the marketplace of Asgard while frost giants descend from on high and they're attacking Asgard, and you're trying to get away. You're trying to run away. And you see Thor come in with his hammer Mjolnir, and he's like battling the frost giants, and you're like, and you're trying to run and hide because you're little,
scared.
You're like 10, you're scared. And Thor gets knocked down right in front of where you're hiding, and on instinct you're like, I need to help him, and you run to him and you pick up his hammer and you hand it to him.
Whoa.
Oh. For a second I was like, I don't care, and then I was like, oh shit, okay.
Which is a big deal because you want to explain to our listeners why it's a big deal.
Because only those who are worthy can like pick up Thor's hammer. Like no one can pick that up.
Sword in the stone style.
Yes.
You can't take it out of the rock unless you are the kind of chosen.
You're chosen. Yep.
Although
exactly.
let me reiterate, when I said I didn't care, I didn't mean like I didn't care. I just meant like, why does that matter? And then it took me a second to realize it mattered.
No, you're good. I understand.
I don't care about that.
So the only people in this story that, and I think in like Marvel canon up to a certain point, that can wield Mjolnir are Odin and Thor. But you, a 10-year-old, pick up the hammer and go, here you go. And
BFD.
Thor kind of,
big
and Thor's like,
deal.
And looks at you and then like shoves you out of the way because he's still fighting frost giants. And right as he shoves you away, you wake up. And you dreamt that memory again of what happened right before you had to come to the castle.
Okay.
So, you have been living in the palace for 10 years.
Ooh.
And you are betrothed to Prince Thor because you are the only other worthy person who can wield his hammer.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yes, you have been there for almost a decade, basically your entire like teenage into adult years, and every 4 months you are retested. So they bring you into the throne room, and in front of Odin and Frigga and Loki and Thor, you have to show them that you can still wield the hammer. And basically,
guys, I got
it.
Every 4 months.
It seems a little frequent.
I know. I didn't really understand why they picked that, but they did.
Time must be different in Asgard.
Time is different in Asgard. And we never really discuss if you will one day age and die, or we don't get into any of that.
Sure.
So don't ask. So don't fucking ask.
But your 18th birthday is coming up, and basically as soon as you turn 18, you're going to get married. And so you're being tested every 4 months to make sure. And if you ever fail the test, you're no longer betrothed. You're kicked out of the castle. You go back to the village you came from to live with your parents.
Yeah.
And you know it's like a great honor and you're like excited to be queen, but you don't know Thor that well because Thor is always away fighting wars and like in Midgard and like he's busy. And so you've kind of grown up in the castle very alone and not really knowing that many people and like being like, I'm betrothed to this guy and I'll be the queen one day, but I don't really know him.
Yeah, and I'm sure everyone's like, what's so special about her?
Exactly. She's just a peasant. But you spend a lot of time in the library quietly reading in your favorite little nook. You have like a favorite corner. And sometimes books get left there that you like really like and find interesting, but you don't know who leaves them.
Oh no. I'm so excited already. Okay, everyone calm down.
And we're like a little bit less than a year out from your like birthday and your wedding day and whatever. And you see Prince Loki in the halls and you guys have like interacted a little bit and you like kind of have a crush on him, but you're like, he's, I'm betrothed and he's the younger brother of my betrothed and like he's an immortal being. I'm I'm about to turn 18, like da-da-da-da-da. But he's slipping into the library and you're slipping out and he like touches your waist and says, pardon me. And you think about that a lot. You think about that a lot for the rest of the night. You're like, he really does smell good though. He really does smell good.
I bet he smells
I absolutely believe that.
I think both the character of Loki and Tom Hiddleston smell amazing. Yeah.
I think they smell great. At dinner, you catch yourself kind of looking at him very, very unsubtly, thinking about his hand on your waist, and he like catches your eye and kind of smirks and holds eye contact.
Yeah, like, he does.
I see you looking at me, and he's the only one that notices you leave dinner early because you're so flustered, and he like kind of watches you leave. You try to sleep, you can't. You're like, I'm gonna go to the library to read, and guess who's there reading? And you talk and you bond, and this is like the first kind of substantial conversation you've had with him. And you like confess how lonely you felt these past few years because like you kind of go unnoticed, like no one really is interested in you in the castle, and Thor's gone and Odin and his queen are busy running everything. And he's like, I understand what you mean. Like, I'm the younger brother. No one's ever really paid attention to me either. But like, it's okay. Like, there's power in that. Like, you're more powerful than you think. And he says, you're one of the very, very few who can wield Mjolnir. And to think we're squandering that away to make you a wife. And you're
like, la la.
You're flustered by that. But you don't quite know why. You're just like, oh, I like that. I like that.
I'll be your warrior. Ooh.
And you agree to finish your books that you were working on and then swap them so that you could talk about them later, which I just find very romantic.
That is so cute. Oh.
It's really cute. He walks you back to your room. You're like, oh my God, this is really lovely. This was really nice. The next day, you're meeting with the family and they're talking about like the run up to you becoming queen, basically, and you and Thor getting married and then kind of succeeding and taking over is the plan. And Thor is like, well, it's time for her to learn self-defense. Like, it's dangerous being the queen. She should know some basics about how to defend herself. Like, she's gonna learn how to wield like knives and axes. That's where she should start. And you kind of raise your hand and you go, I actually taught myself how to do that because no one was ever paying attention to me, and I read a lot of books and I just like practiced, and so I think I know how to do those things already. And everybody's like looking at you shocked, like, oh, we didn't know that. That's okay. And Loki raises his hand and goes, I could teach her archery if everyone's fine with it. And Odin agrees, and Loki smiles at you, and this is how your archery lessons begin.
Oh yes,
I love archery. I love it.
I know. It's a requirement, I think, for these types of stories. There has to be like an archery training montage. So you show up the next morning to meet him. You're like riding out into the like archery fields, which are like by the woods for some reason. Of course they are. And he's like, you look different. And you're like, yes, I do. Because like, you're not wearing makeup and you're not wearing a dress. You're like, we've got tunic, trousers,
nice
bun. You're in your training gear. And she's like, this is warrior me, not princess me. And he goes, have you ever considered you could be both? As he's riding up next to you. And your like thighs kind of touch because your horses are really close together. And then
he said, you contain multitudes, babe.
I just wanted to let you know I noticed that you contain multitudes. Anyway. Then you have archery lessons. And the archery lessons do not start out sexy because archery is hard.
Yeah.
So you've got about 2 hours of you trying and sweating and not hitting the target, until he goes, you have to relax, and comes up behind you and shows you how to put your elbows and how to do the thing. And he touches your elbow and is like, okay, now breathe out.
And breathe out.
Puts, like, a palm on your diaphragm.
There's nothing better than an archery lesson. He goes, and exhale.
And exhale.
And it goes, thwack.
You hit the target. Yep.
Wait.
You got it.
Do some hands.
Yep. This is your new routine. Every morning after breakfast, you meet with Loki and you go out, you fuck off to go do some archery. He's a really good teacher. He grins at you a lot. You try to not show how much you like that. You see each other in the library more often, but in the library, you don't really talk. You guys just like quietly go into your corners and read your books. And sometimes it'll be like, do you want to borrow this one? But otherwise, like, that's your like quiet time together. But you're spending a lot more time together than you ever did before. And you're surprised by like how much fun you're having. Something you have noticed, though, is that your handmaiden, Alva, who's been your person since you came to live in the castle, is a little bit more like cold with you and like a little bit rougher when she does your hair in the morning. But you try to not really like pay too close of attention to it because you're like, maybe she's having a bad day or something. After a couple of weeks of this, there's a knock in the very, very early morning, and it's Thor. And he's like, doesn't have his hat in his hand, but is like kind of nervous and is like, my lady, I'm about to go off to another battle, but could we have breakfast and speak? And you're like, yeah, sure.
Nice.
And you sit down in the garden for breakfast, and he's like, I've been thinking about it, and I'm so sorry if I offended you by implying that you didn't know how to defend yourself to my father.
He's just a nice guy.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't mean to imply that you weren't already capable. And you're like, it's okay. And he's like so relieved because he's like a little puppy dog. And he's like, okay, that's great. I just wanted to clear that up. I wanted to make sure. And he's like, I hope that my brother isn't too much trouble to deal with. And you're like, no, I'm enjoying my lessons, and Loki is a perfect gentleman. And Thor goes, really? And you're like, yeah, it's great. The next day at training, though, Loki seems a little angry. He seems a little short with you. And when you fail to like hit the target and follow his instructions to like fix your posture after being corrected a few times, he like pokes you between the shoulder blades, and you don't particularly like that because he's being bitchy. And you're like, I'm done with this. And you go to march back to your horse. And he's like, where are you going? And grabs you and spins you and pins you to a tree with his like hand above your head and your hands like kind of there. And his face is really close to your face. He's like, where do you think you're going? And you're like, let me go. And he smiles at you and says, no.
Oh my God.
And then he says, maybe I should actually, because I don't want to be too much trouble to deal with. And you're like, oh, were you spying on Thor and I in the garden? And you overheard our conversation. And he says, what a romantic spot you guys were having breakfast in. And you're like, I said that you were being a perfect gentleman and that you were lovely.
Yeah, what's your damage?
Yeah, what's
he
your
doesn't
damage,
want to be.
bro?
He wants to be a bad boy. He doesn't want to be a gentleman. Come on, guys.
All right, then prove
it.
Get
your heads out of your
asses. You want to be a bad boy? Prove it.
Prove it. Push me against a tree, Loki.
So you're still against the tree. You say, I said that you were a gentleman. He takes like a small step back, stares at you for a moment, and then says, I'm not a gentleman. And then he steps towards you again, and you lean up and you kiss him. And it's like an angry, grab by the shirt, pull him into you against the tree, kind of a kiss. And he takes over very quickly, and he's like kissing your neck and leaving marks, and it's all very hot. And then he like smiles at you, and you're like, ee! But then you panic because you're like, I am betrothed. I am betrothed to Thor.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And he would hate this.
Betrothed panic, as we like to call it.
The hardest part I had, the hardest time I had with this story is like I was digging all of it and it was very sexy, but I was like, oh, Thor's like a nice guy though.
Yeah, I make him a dick.
Fault.
Make him a dick. That'd be better.
It would be easier if he was a dick, but no, he's just like kind of a nice guy. But it's fine.
I need some Ron Weasley bashing in here. I need some Thor bashing.
So you panic, and then Loki's like, no one will know. It's okay. Don't panic. It's all right. And then he goes, I would have kissed you months ago if I knew you wanted to. You go back to your room. You're trying to figure out why he let you kiss him, because you are a simple peasant girl who was betrothed to his brother. And you're like, but why did I kiss him? And why did he kiss me back? And you really want to do it again, but you're afraid of the consequences.
Well, yes.
The next day, yeah, you're very real.
Yeah. And you know what? Like the family are not known for being like the most reasonable.
No, there's some angry gods and goddesses,
and you know the Norse. The Norse
are immortal.
They're pretty vengeful as gods go.
Yeah.
They're like
they ain't happy. No.
Odin in particular.
Yeah, so you know, I'd be scared.
Fair. Yeah. You're scared. You're scared, but you're also like, that was really hot though. And you do fall asleep.
Does horny win out over fear? Yeah. Let's find out.
Because you've been taken over by the horniness, and then you're just tired, and then you sleep the rest of the day.
A feedback loop, if you will.
The next morning, Alva wakes you up, and she's like, it's your test day. Like, you need to get dressed. Like, you slept in. And you're like, oh shit. And it's time for you to prove that you can lift the hammer. And so you go to the throne room. It's Thor, Loki, Frigga, and Odin. And Odin has this speech of like, we have gathered here once again to prove that your name is still worthy of being betrothed to Thor.
Can I lift the hammer?
Yada, yada, yada.
Ruling the people of Asgard.
Every 4 months, we're doing the speech? My God.
Yeah, who has the time? The immortals.
And the hammer, it has a very scary reputation. When Thor and Odin wield it, it's like full of lightning and it's all scary. But when you hold it, you feel like it's light as a feather. You feel like it's an extension of your arm, and you don't necessarily feel filled with power. You just feel filled with confidence and rightness when you hold Mjolnir.
I love that description.
Yeah, it's not scary to you. Almost as soon as it's in your hand, Odin is there taking it away from you. Like, clearly does not love that he has to hand this to anybody, specifically someone that isn't blood family of his. And you want to like catch Loki's eye the whole time, but you resist because you have self-control.
Or do I?
But do I? Because you get back to your chamber and you like close the door and you like lean back against it and you like sigh because what a trial I've been put through. And then leaning against one of your bedposts, arms crossed over his chest, Loki says, well, darling, aren't we glad to have gotten that out of the way? And then you don't resist all that much when he picks you up and starts kissing you and sets you both on the
Jessica!
couch. And he like kind of grabs your skirt and like kind of looks at you and you say, yes, please do that. And he takes off your dress. And you like, he's like kissing up and down your body and like you kind of like touch his jaw with your hand and he like turns his head to the side and puts your fingers in his mouth.
Oh my God.
And then you ask him to take off his shirt and he looks at you delighted and is like, yes, of course.
Delighted.
Absolutely having a great time. And he's like, I've been thinking about this for so long, and his fingers are going lower and lower and lower and he's starting to touch you. And you're like quiet. You're like you're like enjoying yourself, but you're like trying to be demure and mindful. And he says, and I quote, "Darling, despite what the rumors say, I can't read minds. If you aren't willing to tell me what you want, the very least you could do is beg."
Yes! Oh, brother.
Oh my God.
Exactly what I was hoping you would do.
I really want to read this. I really want to read this now.
I'll send it to you.
This man, my man.
Anyway, he tells you to beg. You do. You do. And he fingers you and you come really hard and then kisses you on the forehead as you fall asleep almost immediately.
Damn.
I don't want a forehead kiss. I don't like that.
It's fine.
Yeah, but from somebody who's like such like a dick normally, like the tenderness is like such a special little treat.
Weirdly, I'm more okay with like a temple kiss than a forehead kiss. Forehead feels too much like you're my parent. Temple is more intimate in my opinion.
You're also so small.
Yeah. I am small. I am small.
And as tall, you know, I think
tall.
I enjoy the forehead kiss because I'm like, you gotta be up here with me to give it.
I get it. You know what? I agree.
Small. As a medium, I don't have much of a preference either
way. You could go either way. You can go either way.
I can go either way. So the next day, Alva's helping you dress, and she sees the marks on your neck, and you kind of deflect, and you're like, "I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about." And she goes, "Should you be wearing green today instead of red?"
Oh
my God!
Girl, Alva knows everything.
I don't know what you're saying. Alva knows, but you're like, no, I'm not. I don't know what you're saying. And she goes back to like being okay, and she's still like cold and hard to read. But you're like, this has always been her personality. She's a little like stoic. She's a little hard to read. I'm not going to read too much into it. I'm okay. We're okay. You're like trying to calm yourself down. You're like, I know the family trusts her. She's been with me the entire time. Like, but maybe I should ask for her to be reassigned. Like, if this is going to keep happening.
Sounds like a scorned fling to me.
I don't know.
How old is it Alva or Alba?
Alva. So okay. Alva is how.
Is she like an older woman, or is she like?
They don't really get into. They don't say a specific age, but she's been your handmaiden since you came to live at the castle like 10 years ago. So she's probably like if you're 18, she's probably 28. Early 30s.
Oh, okay. I was thinking she was like elder, like 40 or 50. I was thinking she was like matronly. No. Gotcha. Okay.
No, I don't know. There's like fan art in this, and the way they drew her was like
love.
It's like
okay.
20s, 30s probably.
Gotcha. Yeah, this helps.
You've got your lesson. You've got your archery lesson the next morning with Loki, and you're not doing a whole lot of archery anymore. And he takes you to a secluded spot in the woods, and it's like a marble bench with like pillars around. It's like the runes of something, and you make out on the bench.
Hot. Oh my God!
And it's Emily's dream. And then. And then, like, you take a break from making out and you, like, sit and talk and you feel, like, so heard and it's really nice. And it feels really good to have a friend after so many years. And he's like, I see all the parts of you and I see how ambitious you are and I see how powerful you are. And you're like, thank you. And he says, but what do you want right now? Like, right now in this moment, what are you looking for? And you make out more and then you give him a hand job. Which always happens in fics, and I'm always like, all right, we have to cross this bridge.
It has to happen. We do unfortunately have to cross this bridge. However,
it's never.
I feel like we've already taken a plane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like he's if he has already delved into the nether regions, like you do as well. But remember, she's also 17, turning 18. He's immortal. She's never given a blowjob. That would be my next step.
Yeah.
I would do a little 1, 2, 3.
Right. But if it's your first time doing the 1, 2, you got to wait to go to the 3.
You got to go 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3.
Work into the 3. Yeah.
Right. You've got to work into the 3.
They do the thing that I think is kind of a trope for this type of dynamic in fics, where like he puts his hand over your hand and like shows you.
Yes.
It's like a teaching moment, and you tell him, he's like, you have to tell me how I made you feel the other night, and you like describe it to him, and it's sexy. It's a sexy scene. It's hot. The next day for training, you don't do archery anymore because that's old hat. Loki wants to see your knife skills. So you're invited to spar in the training rooms. And he's like very impressed by you, obviously, because you read a lot of books about it. And
yes.
Obviously. And we get a again, you get pushed up against the wall because he knocks the knife out of your hand and pushes you up against the wall. And he says, such a shame. I must admit I expected you to last longer than that. And you like hate that, and you're like, and you like strike back at him and like push him back and get him on the ground now, so that you're like sitting on his chest. And he looks once again shocked and delighted and grins up at you, and then like bites the inside of your leg because you're sitting on his chest. To, like, get you. Which I love. And you're like bantering and chatting while you try to kill each other, obviously. And you kind of like let your insecurity slip through a little bit and go, well, how many others have you done this with? And he very slowly approaches you, and gets very, very close, and says, "Oh, I see that you've been listening to the rumors about him being a ladies' man." And he says, "You're stupid to believe these things." And you like shove him, and this time you push him up against the wall, and you press your blade to his throat.
We are warriors.
And when you do that, the tiniest little drop of blood wells up on his neck. And you're immediately like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And you're like a little horrified. You start to apologize. And he's looking at you and then says, well,
lick it
better.
Lick it.
Kiss it better. Oh, you rogue.
I know, and you do kiss it better. But as you're leaving, he's like, you need to tell me if you're like anxious about something from now on. It can't just come out while we're doing knife fights. And you're like, okay,
I guess
we have reached your birthday party, your birthday ball.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
You'll be expected to match Thor in red, but you decide to pick a black dress instead.
Ooh.
And you look very slinky and good. And I didn't write down what the dress looks like, but you guys, I'm sure, can picture.
Yeah, I'm filling in the blanks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this literally after this once you send it to me, so I'll find out what it is.
I'll send you the link. Yeah. Entering the ball, you're announced in the like, now announcing the future queen of Asgard. And Thor is there, and he's like, my beautiful bride-to-be. And he's like loud and boisterous, and is like, you look so beautiful. And you're teeny compared to him, because he's
so
just
small,
an old man.
So
small. I'm small.
And he says, like, very loudly, like, to the crowd, like, there's no better maiden to claim the throne than my betrothed. And is just being very gallant. And you kiss him on the cheek, and you're like, thank you, Thor. Because he's a sweetheart, and you're not, like, mad at him. You just don't like him like that.
Sure.
And you guys take the first dance, and he's like, milady, I'm so sorry that I've been away. Like, I would really like to get to know each other more, especially since we're to be married. And you have a conversation about the hammer and what it feels like when you hold it. And then you feel a tap on your shoulder, and Thor says, oh, brother. And it's Loki, and he's like, could I cut in to have a dance with our future queen? And as soon as you guys are kind of spinning off on the dance floor, he kind of quietly looks at you and goes, I'm glad that you didn't wear red. And you want to kiss him, but you don't. And afterwards, you sneak into his rooms. And
Girl.
all all I wrote was there's an extended washing scene and then you have very passionate sex in his bed, because eventually I had to stop writing down all the details of all of the sex scenes.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
So they watch each other and then they have bed sex in his room. It's great.
But they have bed sex.
Bed birthday sex.
For the first time. They haven't had sex in bed yet.
Oh, this is like the first. Oh, well, this is the first full sex. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In a bed,
So
not outside.
So they've had like sex outside. I thought they were just like doing bits. Okay.
They were doing bits, but also the entire time they were like in the woods.
Right. Gotcha. So, like, okay. I didn't know if they had crossed that boundary yet. Okay.
We have crossed that boundary. I didn't write it down.
It was on the marble. It was on the marble bench. Very uncomfortable, but very hot. Heard. Go on.
You wake up in Loki's room. You're like, oh my God, he's sleeping next to me. This wasn't a dream. Last night wasn't a dream, girl.
Oh boy.
You're like watching him sleep like a creep when he says, I can tell you're awake, you know.
Oh.
And goes, you can keep looking. I like it. And this kicks off a pattern of him continuing to show up in your room, and you keep spending nights together, and kind of sneaking around and being weird, but like the sex is really good. Mm-hmm. We're gonna deal with it. Odin summons you though to say your parents reached out and they would like to see you before the wedding. They'd like to discuss their involvement in the wedding. You're very surprised by this and very emotional about it because they have not reached out to you at all the entire time that you've been in the palace. You have not seen them.
What the hell? What the heck?
But then I was also like, I don't know. Can they read and write? I don't know.
Could they send a smoke signal? I don't know.
Surely they would have. Well, anyway, probably. I was curious, and now I know.
They wrote a letter. Yeah. They did write a letter saying we'd like to see you before the wedding, and so they can, in theory, read and write, but they just never reached out to you.
Great.
And you're like, okay, I'm gonna go. Like, I should see them and figure out what they want. And it's like a ride to their village. And
they didn't even come to her. She has to go to them.
Her.
Yes.
Damn.
Gotcha.
And so Loki comes to your room the night before to see you off and is like, you're going to be gone for 3 days. You have, make sure that you still remember me, like in that length of time. And and you say, do you want to give me something to think about? And then you make out and then you give him a blowjob for the first time. Oh. And it's very slow and there's a lot of like my prince and a lot of like my king and a lot of my queen and that kind of a thing, if you know what I mean. So you ride, it's like an hour or two horse ride to your parents. And they welcome you and it's all warm and they're like, you never met your sisters. It's these twins. And you're like, oh my God, my twin sisters. Holy shit. And you meet them and it's so nice. And you're like, oh my God, I have family. And it's happy and warm. The sisters' names are Flora and Fauna, which you find a little bit odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. You notice it and you're like, You also notice that the house is like a little dingy, a little like there are things broken and you're like,
something is afoot.
Something is afoot.
Your parents have been receiving basically like an allowance from Odin the entire time that you've been in the palace. Like he's been like taking care of your parents. And so you're like,
so it shouldn't look like this.
This is a little bit, it shouldn't look like this. Why does it look like this? But you're kind of like caught up in like, oh, I get to see my fucking family, right?
I think I know what it is.
On the last night that you're there, because you're there for like 2 days, and your parents, like the first night, like you discuss, like they're like, oh, well, we would like to be there for the wedding, and like here's how we'd like to be involved, and you're like, great. The second night, the night before you leave, they leave because they're like, we have a meeting in town. And you are kind of starting to gather your things to leave the next day, and you're like, oh, my hairpins are missing. Oh, one of my dresses is missing. you start to look through the house and you find other things of yours that had clearly been taken and hidden. And then you confront your twin sisters and they go, oh, well, they hired us to like help pick your pocket and take stuff from you while you were here. We're not related to you at all, actually.
Whoa. That's not what I thought was happening. Okay.
Yes. And then your parents get home and you like basically sit them down and confront them and they're like, yeah, we are in a ton of gambling debt.
Yeah. I was like, they've got debts for sure.
They've got debts.
Hey.
And so all they're interested in is they want to go to the palace to see what they can take.
These two are definitely not lifting up Mjolnir. I'll tell you what.
Fools. Absolute fools.
No. Absolute fools. You're devastated. You're crying. You're like, you can keep everything you already took, but I will never speak to you again. You will never get another cent from me, or from the palace. And you're crying as you get on your horse and ride back to Asgard.
He's gonna find you and he's gonna make you feel better, I bet. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. Continue with the story.
You return to the palace, still crying. You've just been crying this whole time. You're devastated. Thor and Loki. Go.
But you ever cried really for like this long, like while you're doing activities? It is crazy.
It's exhausting. It's
crazy because you're like, I should be over this by now. I bet if I keep doing like normal things, I'll stop crying, and then like you don't stop.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it is cleansing sometimes.
Oh, poor me.
Poor you. You return to the palace devastated. Thor and Loki are both waiting at the gates, being like, "Welcome home," and you just run past them crying. Loki tries to like follow you into your room to comfort you, and you're like, no, I don't want to see you right now. We need to stop doing this. Like, I'm so tired of people disappointing me, and like this is inevitably not going to work out, and so why are we even doing this to ourselves? I need you to leave me alone, and I'm going to do the leaving this time. And you like slam the door and like leave me to myself. And you basically you sleep for days. You don't eat. You stay in your room. You're very, very sad. You're very, very sad.
So he doesn't make you feel better. What a bummer.
No, you won't let him. You push him away. Finally the queen comes to your rooms and she just sits and talks with you, and you say, quote, I thought when I went to my parents I would finally feel like I was where I was supposed to be and that I would feel at home, but I didn't. And when I came back here I realized that I don't have a home. And she as you cry again, and she says, often home is not a place but a person. And then you go to Loki's room. You speed walk there a little bit. And he's not super happy to see you at first. He's a little salty because you kicked him out, and you apologize, tears in your eyes.
He is sensitive to rejection, I think.
He's sensitive. He's got some rejection dysphoria, and he breaks pretty much immediately though as soon as you're crying. He's like, I was so worried and I felt so powerless, and you're like crying in his arms, and you're not sure who starts the kiss, but then you're kissing and crying and sex having while you're kissing and crying, and you say I love you while you're doing the sex. I know.
Whoa. Damn. Wait, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Was Frigga nice? Like, was it a nice talk with her? Okay, like yes. We're getting mother figure from her, like not fully, but like, okay, cool. Just wanted to know for my own feelings.
There have been several little there have been several scenes that I just have not said for the sake of time.
Yeah.
Where like you have breakfast together, like she takes you on walks, nice. Like she's very motherly and sweet.
You never know.
Exactly.
Totally. Things progress. You guys are fucking around again. But Alva is still being weird to you, your servant, if you remember her. And you tell Loki like one day, you're like, she's mean and cold, and I don't know what to do. Like she wasn't this mean and cold before. And he seems really surprised. And he's like, maybe try talking to her, you know, about why she's being this way, and like, you know, maybe you can get to the bottom of it by having a conversation with her. And then you have sex in the library, obviously, and he bends you over the table in the library, and says like, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to stay quiet. You're going to have to stay quiet, like I've asked.
Those are so fun. Oh my god, those scenes. So fun.
There's more sex. So then like the next day you can't sleep, whereas Loki, you go find him in his room, he fingers you, he's like behind you on the bed, and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and he's touching you, and he's like look at how beautiful you are, etc. We get the point.
Right. We get the fucking point.
We get the point. The day of your final test, this is like the last one before they go, okay, you're gonna get married, you're ready to be queen. He gets super, super drunk, and like it shows up in your room drunk and like sitting on your bed, and is like, would you ever choose me instead of the kingdom, instead of my brother? Like, don't go to the test, just stay behind with me. And you kiss him, and you're like, I have to, it's my duty. And you go, and you do the thing, and you pick up the hammer, and it's all fine. And then you rush back to your room because you're like, is Loki still there? Like, he's gonna give us away, and he's super drunk. And you run into Alva at your doorway trying to get into your room, and she's holding like an armful of dresses, and she's like really insistent. She's like raising her voice and like being mean, is like, I'll hang up your dresses for you, like da 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 da. And you like successfully kind of go like, stop it, I've got it, don't worry about it. You take the dresses from her, and you go into the room, and you're glad that you fought her because Loki is there still on your bed. And he's like, who is yelling out there? And you're like, Alva, I've told you, like, she's mean to me. And he's like, wow, like I didn't realize how, like, that was a lot. And you lead him to the bathroom, and you draw him a bath, and like there's like bath sex, and you're like crying, and you're like, I wish that it didn't have to be this way.
I wish
I have my
Alva is right out there. Wow.
Maybe. The next morning you look closer at the dresses that you took away from her, and they aren't yours. They're just some random dresses. And you're like, why was she trying to get into my room? Like, clearly she was pretending to drop off my laundry, but really she was just trying to get into my room while Loki was in here. You go to Loki and you explain your concerns, and you're like, I think that she's up to something. And he's like, you're giving her too much credit. Stop worrying. Like, don't worry about it. And you get mad, and you're like, why aren't you listening to me?
Right.
Like, I told you that she's really like not treating me well, and she's being suspicious. And he's like, all I do is listen to you and like make out with you, look out for you. I just don't think that you should make an enemy of someone that's so trusted and is so established in the palace without any like hard proof. Like, wait for an actual problem. Don't think about the politics of it. Think about what would be like the cunning move. But that doesn't sit right with you. You still don't like it, and you go out into the grounds, and you run into Thor, who's like, my lady, and is so excited to talk to you. And he starts to walk next to you, and is like, may I join you? And he sees that you look upset, and he says, are you all right? And you go, can I tell you something? And you tell him about your concerns about Alva. And he's horrified. He's like, I'm so sorry to hear about the way that she's been treating you, and that dress thing is a little bit weird. And he's like, I know that that you've been really isolated, and she shouldn't be treating you that way. Like, you should just tell her that you're going to reassign her. You should just like do away with this. Like, you don't need to deal with this stress. Like, it won't. He reassures her. He's like, I haven't had like a servant of my own since I was a child. Like, you don't really even need her services anymore. It won't be weird if you reassign her. And you feel so much better. You're like, okay, cool, I have a plan now. Thor listened to me and like helped me. That's great. And you smile, you feel a lot better, and you're like, Thor, I think we really are good friends. And he's like, I'm really relieved to hear that, my lady. Thank you so much.
Aww.
You go back to your room, and you hear a loud hello behind you, and it's Alva, who has been in your room for some reason. And she looks very sinister. And you say, what are you doing in my room? And she's like, well, I'm your maid, aren't I? I guess not for long. Isn't that what you and Thor were discussing? And she's like,
I don't like this.
I see all your little meetings with the prince, and you go, I don't know what you're talking about. Thor and I are engaged. We're allowed to meet. And she goes, I'm not talking about Thor.
Okay.
Girl.
You're like, I don't understand why you're doing this. And she looks super angry. And she says, did Loki ever take you to the marble bench and the pillars and the wood?
Oh my goodness.
And
that two-timing little poo. Oh, no.
And I felt in my bones. That this is what it would come to.
I didn't want this.
But you know what? When you're immortal, you're gonna get around.
She says, did Loki ever take you to the marble bench and the pillars in the woods? And you're like, you're trying not to panic, and you've got your poker face on, and you're like, I'm not gonna tell her nothing.
Right.
And she goes, I showed him that place. I showed him a lot of things, actually. And now you're benefiting from that. Oh. And then she storms out. And right after she storms out, you're like kind of standing there shocked, not moving. And then a green mist appears in front of you, and it's Loki. And he goes, we need to talk.
Hey, Vay.
And he's so mad, but he doesn't expect you to be just as mad. And you beat him to speaking, and he was like insulted that you went to Thor for help. And you go, well, why didn't you tell me about your past with Alva? And he goes, I beg your pardon. And you're like, why didn't you tell me? She told me everything, and she knows about us, and that's why she hates me, because she still wants you, and she's jealous. And you're like, you knew for 5 months that we were doing this, that she was treating me badly, and you said that I was overthinking it. And you made me feel like an idiot, and you made me feel like my concerns were valid, and that's not okay. And he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I had no idea that she was taking it that far. And you're like, you ignored me, and you.
Well, I told you.
Seriously.
Yeah. Good job, me. Good job, us.
Yeah. You stand up for yourself.
Seriously.
He goes. He like takes a second. He takes a second, and he says, I'm sorry, I didn't listen. I thought because she didn't have proof that eventually she would just give up and stop. And I knew that the way she was treating you wasn't fair, but I thought that we could just wait her out. But that wasn't fair to you, and I should have communicated with you, and I understand why you went to Thor. And he just folds like a lawn chair. You find that in the subsequent days, you don't really want to be around him. You're like, we had a good conversation, but like, I'm going to take my distance from you a little bit.
Yeah, you pissed me off.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So you don't really hang out for a few days, and then you're you're having a dinner with the family to plan the nuptials. And you're eating and you're drinking, and it's you, Odin, Frigga, Loki, Thor, and Alva comes in to re-pour wine.
Okay.
There's gonna be a spill. There's gonna be poison. I'm back in.
And your eyes are on her, and you're watching her, and she's kind of like looking at you, and she looks sinister as fuck. And then she goes and like stands by the door, and she's just staring at you. And then all of a sudden, you start to cough, and Odin's words get more distant, and you can't breathe. And Thor is asking if you're all right, and you say, I'm fine. And then you fall to the ground shaking, and Thor and Loki are above you, and they look terrified. And the last thing before you pass out is Alva, surrounded by guards, waving at you, giving you like a little toodaloo.
No. But she's surrounded by guards. Oh my God. What a sociopath.
You're out for 2 days.
I get it. Like, it's not that it's regular D. It's Loki, It's
good. It's really,
I would be pissed if that happened, too. I don't know if I'd poison, but
it's not the regular D. It's Loki.
It's Loki.
That was funny. Hashtag Loki D.
We're in the final stretch of this now. We're gonna get some plot. You wake from your 2-day coma, basically.
Yeah.
To Loki hovering over you. He obviously is like, it was poison. We all, I think, put that together.
We all knew.
he's apologizing over and over. He's like, I'm so sorry I didn't take her seriously. I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you. Thor comes in and goes, my lady, I thought you should know Elva is about to be put to death for treason. And you yelled, no.
Whoa.
And you try to get out of bed, but you're still too weak. And you beg them to take you to her and to the throne room where her trial is being held and where she would be put to death. And Thor agrees to carry you. And you are carried through the doors of the throne room with Loki.
Get the best of both worlds.
And you beg for Alva's life. You beg for her life. And you say, I do not want anybody else's death on my hands or done on my behalf. That is not the queen that I want to be.
Ooh.
That is not how I want my rule to begin, with the execution of my handmaiden. And Odin is clearly like, does not agree with you,
right.
But he goes,
not his
what
style.
would you like? Not his style. He goes, what would you like instead? And you say, take her to my parents.
Oh damn.
Wow.
That is a fate worse than death.
Yes.
Gosh, I'm so smart.
You're so smart. You sent her to a life with your parents.
I'm just full of poetic justice. Wow.
I know.
Wowzers.
Loki is like, I will escort her back to her rooms, and he, gets you into bed, and you try to get up to say something else, but he stops you and he says, sleep and know that I love you. Which is very sweet. He stays by your side for days as you continue to recover. You are still not well.
Right.
He tells you he loves you. Often you sleep in the same bed, but sometimes like you wake up in the middle of the night, he's like pacing back and forth. Clearly he's like still worried that some threat is going to come your way. Things kind of return to normal. You feel safe. There's lots of sex. Trust me on this. I didn't write it all down. There's so much sex.
And nobody is like, they've really gotten close.
They're sleeping in the same beds because he loves her as a sister so much.
As a sister, he's being so helpful.
So helpful.
He like makes a sound barrier with magic at one point, so
Love.
You can't be heard. And like you guys have really rough sex. It's great.
It's great.
It's great. One morning you're getting ready and there's frantic knocking at your door. You're alone in your room and you're just getting dressed for the day. There's a guard. The Asgard is under attack again from the frost giants. And the guard is like at your door saying like, my lady, we need to move. We need to get you to a safe place, when a giant blue frost giant man's club sweeps the guard, hits him in the back, and basically sweeps him down the hallway. And this frost giant says, the future queen of Asgard, we've heard a lot about you. And like tries to grab for you, but you have your perfume in your hand, and so you spray it in his eyes.
Yeah.
And he pushes you back and he raises his club, and a knife stabs through his chest from behind, and it's Thor's friend Sif. And she stabs him from behind and goes, run! And you run and you follow her. And you see all the damage and all the hurt around you, and like clearly the frost giants have just been like killing people and destroying things, and for some reason you didn't hear it. It's fine. We're gonna yada yada past that. You get to basically like the base of a mountain where the royal safe house is, and Thor and Loki are there, and like you seal in together, and you ask for a weapon, and Thor says, you won't need one. We will protect you, my lady. Just as two giants break in and start to fight, and you back up to like hide against the wall without a weapon, and Loki appears next to you and says, take one of these. I don't know how helpful it will be. And he hands you a dagger.
Nice.
And he gets thrown against a wall, and a giant sees you and starts to run at you, and you know this tiny dagger won't be enough. And so what do? You think certainly death is coming for you. This is your only hope. And you raise your hand high in the air and concentrate all your will on one thing, summoning Mjolnir, the hammer. And you do. And you raise your hand in the air, and the hammer, you don't even have to think of it more than once. The hammer is suddenly in your hand, and you swing it forward, and you hit the frost giant hard across its jaw, and it slides across the room, and you feel light as air, and you feel like so happy, and not even powerful, just like, I did that. And you see Loki reaching towards you, and he's injured, and he's and you're like, did you see what I just did? And you're so happy, and you run towards him, and he grabs you, and you kiss him.
Oh God, girlfriend.
Well,
and in the middle of the kiss, you hear Thor say, "Brother."
Oh no, I don't like this. I'm not reading it again. I'm done.
Brother, what's going on?
Oh.
He convinces you to go back to your room. He's like, let me talk to my brother and my parents. And you're like, fine, for some reason.
Fine, but I'm taking Mjolnir with me.
I'm taking you with me.
It's mine.
Loki comes back and he's like, Odin has decided that you will be tested again tomorrow. And that your fate will be decided after that.
Oh boy.
Soon after he leaves, there's a knock on your door, and it's Thor. And he's like, I thought that you would want to know that Sif is all right and that your guard is all right. And I just wanted to tell you that. And he says, I want you to know that I'm not angry at you, but you have broken my heart.
Oh, what? No, he's a baby. He's just a little baby, Thor. Oh, no.
You've broken my heart.
He says, not in the way that he loves you in the romantic sense, but he says, over the years, I've become more and more confident in your ability to be a wonderful queen, and I hope that you still get to be. You fall to your knees and cry. We're in the final stretch. The next day, you're to be retested. Odin clearly hates you and wants this to be bad.
Yeah, he's pissed.
Glaring at you. He's pissed.
Yeah.
You kneel. The hammer is on the ground the way it always is. You kneel and you go to pull it up. It doesn't move. You can't lift it. Tears fill your eyes. Thor looks really confused. Loki looks so angry, and Odin says, "Seize her," to the guards.
Odin, stop being a dick.
The guards surround you and grab you and start to drag you off. And you hear Frigga say your name. And she says, call for it again. Call for it. And you do the same thing you did before. You can't lift your hand in the air, but you open your hand and you concentrate on Mjolnir, the hammer. And it comes to you. But it's not the one sitting in the middle of the floor.
What? Tricks!
You hear crash, crash, crash as this hammer flies to you through walls and windows and gardens and trees and flies into your hand from wherever Odin had hidden it.
Oh, brother. Sassy minx, you little bitch. Fuck you. No, I'm not going to say that, but still, fuck you.
You holding Mjolnir, you yell, you gave me a fake test as you walk towards Odin, the king, energy crackling and lightning sparkling around you. And you're so angry and you're standing there on the dais and you're staring at him, and then you turn to Thor and you hand him the hammer and you say, I love you, my friend, and you hug him. And you take Loki's hand and he squeezes yours, and you turn to Odin and you say, make your choice. What will we do now? And you leave it in his hands.
Ooh, weird.
He says, despite your shortcomings, you are a favorite of the kingdom now, and you're clearly very powerful. You and Thor will still be married. And you will be queen.
Whoa.
Oh my God. Odin, you're such a bitch. God damn.
But to make sure that this thing between you and Loki is truly ended, the wedding will be tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Loki comes to you that night and says, I love you. I'm going to do everything I can to stop this. I have a plan. Like, trust me. You hug and you kiss him and you have sex for maybe the last time. You wake up, Loki is gone. The maids are there to paint your face and to put on your wedding dress and everything. You do want to be queen, but not like this. And you're very sad. Soon enough, you're standing outside of the hall. You could hear the crowd inside. You see a flash of green above you on the balcony, and you know it's Loki, and you run up the stairs to the upper level. He's like looking down at the hall below and kind of watching everybody. You say his name, you like run to each other, you give each other a kiss, and he says, "Are you all right?" And you say, "No, I don't know what to do." He says, "It's okay, I have a plan." And he gestures down to the frost giants hiding just outside of the doors of the hall.
Oh, Jesus.
He says, "I let them in to try to provide a distraction. They've agreed to like basically give us a way to slip out, and we can escape together. We can leave this place and be together forever." And you're horrified. And you think about all the life that might be lost if you agree to let the frost giants come in. And you think about the life that you and Loki could have far away from here. And
Jessica,
your duty to the people of Asgard.
Jessica.
And Loki takes your hands and says, "Do you love me?" And you say yes. And you say, "I love you." And he says, "The frost giants are going to take care of all of this." And I'm going to read this.
Oh my God.
Loki's palm remains outstretched, beckoning you to him. He's asking you, begging. The people of Asgard dance below, laughing and grinning and waiting for you. You see Thor standing in front of them, nervous. You wonder how many casualties there would be, how many there already have been. "Come along." An edge begins to set into Loki's voice. "There's no need to draw this out. Come here." Head or heart. You look at Loki one last time, and then you make your decision.
Is that how it fucking I have never been more as soon as that, I'm done.
The author left a note about very purposely being like, "I wanted to leave it open-ended so that you as the reader could decide what you would do."
That's fun. That's a nice choose your own adventure, but oh my God. You know what? I'm not even talking to you anymore. I'm not looking at anyone. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm furious.
I didn't prepare for an eventuality where I would have to actually participate.
My game isn't even a game. It's what do you think you would do?
Ooh.
Okay. Well, something about me is that I frequently think about how much work it is to commit a crime and like how much work it is to keep a secret, because I love to talk about everything that I'm doing all the time. And like, I also don't really want to be on the run.
Fair.
Like being on the run is like probably like worst case scenario for me in like any like fantasy situation, is where they're like, yeah, we have to keep moving and going from place to place to place. Like I don't like, that is not a life that I would choose in a million billion years. So I think I'm choosing Thor. I think I'm choosing marriage with Thor. It's going to be stable. We're going to learn to trust each other. Maybe he'll meet Natalie Portman in a couple years. And he'll say, we gotta, you know, Odin kicks the bucket one of these days. And maybe there's still a way. I refuse to believe that the way that my love story needs to survive is through violence.
So something I've been working on, here's a little real moment for Emily. Something I've been working on this year with my therapist has been like being a little more selfish and not being the like need for everyone to, I don't need to make everyone happy all the time. And like all that, like, and everyone's happiness in life is not in my hands all the time. Yes. And that's helped me a lot. Now, life is literally in my hands in this situation. A lot of people will be killed. So I'm so sorry to Lauren, my therapist. I am going to go back on that and say I'd pick Thor, just because I don't think I could be able to live with myself with all the death that I know would happen, especially like everyone's celebrating. Like I would be, and like, No, I wouldn't be happy. I would always be thinking about it with Loki. And I think like you're already really good friends with Thor. Like he's hot, like no big deal. He's a golden retriever. Like, listen, it's not the torrid love affair that I know I'm destined for, but like I would be a good queen. I would like keep everyone safe. And like that would fulfill me just as much in a different way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I wish that I wasn't so fucking responsible, because I think younger me would have 100% run away with Loki and not even thought about it.
So Taylor, you're about to rate us. So mine was claimed by the Orc Prince by Lionel Hart for fantasy arranged marriage, and Jessica's is
mine was She Shall Have by Written Into Stars.
Written Into Stars. Okay, so go ahead and rate us out of 5 raccoons and trash cans, please.
Okay, 4.5 raccoons in the trash for Emily's.
Wow, thank you.
4.5 raccoons in the trash. Just because the tropes were troping, tall, small, get behind me. I'll dress you up. It was giving. It was giving the Steed fan fiction to me.
Very nice.
Which is very important to me. And then also like, the orcs were hot. The orcs were doing this Scottish thing for me that really worked. And the lore, the little mind lore, very satisfying to me. MPREG lore, very satisfying. 4.5 out of 5. Thank you so much. And Jess, this is perfect. This is a perfect fanfic. 5 out of 5. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 raccoons in the trash can. Yay! Because
I agree.
I kicked my feet. I said no. I said yes. I experienced the full gambit, and once again turning it back to the reader, putting a mirror up to society. Just brilliant work by the author, and of course in your presentation.
Thank you. There were several moments when I was writing
correct
that I was like,
you
I
were
think
correct.
Taylor's gonna go, ah! And I was like, I knew that was gonna be you, and I was very excited. Well, that is part 2 of 3, you guys.
Yep, we'll be coming back with our last version of arranged marriages next time. We'll keep it from. I mean, I think you're gonna figure out what it is, but we'll keep it from you as a surprise, Taylor. So,
okie dokie.
And this was wonderful, and we're just 2 raccoons
talking about
the best trash
in
town.
Bye.
Bye now.
Femmes Reading Filth is hosted, produced, and edited by Jessica Mole, Emily Barujan, Andrea Yuthmund, and Ben Oxshire. Intro music is by Tom Lair. Outro music by David Reddick. You can find and support us on Patreon and follow us on Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, and TikTok at Femmes Reading Filth. Thank you for listening. Bye!